everybody. Today we're going to be teaching Indonesia. This is an economic game where you own production and shipping companies. You're going to be making money. If you have the most money at the end, you're going to win. You start with $100 in this game. This is going to be a very fast and efficient way to learn the game. So let's make money in this game. Well, one way is to sell goods produced by your companies. So once you draft one of these guys out here, if it's a production company, like that is spice, and this is rice. So we got this rice here, we put one out there. All we gotta do is ship that by boat to a city, and we're gonna make that money. That's one way to make money. Another way is to own the boats. See these ships right here? When I shipped on those boats, I'm getting paid $5 for each one. So you make money just once people use your boats as well. Another way to make money is more advanced, but you're going to be able to merge companies. People own these, you want to combine them, you can do that later. We're not going to talk about that yet, but that is the third way to make money in this game. First phase in the game is the new era. That is where you're going to place new cities. Everyone's going to have a card, they're going to tell you places that you can put a city, and then you're going to place one of the cities. You're always going to put down a yellow first. Yellow just means that they can take one good of each type. The only way to get the other cities is to upgrade them. Next phase is bid for turn order. This is where you're going to invest money to go first during the game. You're gonna have your guys lined up here. If you paid the most money during this phase, you are gonna go first. The cool thing about this is, I called it investing because it's like you're putting your money away until the end of the game, investing it. You spend the money now, but that money will count toward your final game score. But you can't use it during the game, as in it's being invested. Third part would be mergers, but we're not going to talk about that yet. You don't need to know that yet. Technically, you could go through a whole game and not merge at all. You don't need that to sell or buy things, so we'll talk about that later. Fourth part would be acquisitions. So this, you're going to be taking one of the companies out here for free. If you take a boat, rectangle, you can see it has a picture where it's supposed to be. It has the name on there, Java Timur. All you gotta do is put it adjacent to that location. So for this one here, you got the bottom part or the top part of the ocean to put that boat. Here we go, putting the buyer the rice or the spices that are out available. Just gotta look at the name, Bali. That means you're gonna put it on Bali, one of the pieces of land in Bali. Next part we got is research and development. So over here, you can see that we're all level 1. But we're gonna get to upgrade some stuff. Slots. This one here, it tells you how many companies you can have. Right now, you only could have one boat. If you upgrade this here, you could buy another boat. Well, you're not technically buying them, you're getting them for free. You could have some rice in there. It's 2 slots. See, slot 1, slot 2. Guess how many you could have if you're in slot 5? You could have 5 different companies. Mergers, that tells you how many companies you can propose for merger. You don't know how to do mergers yet, but if you're in one, that means you can propose a merger between one piece of cardboard. So as you can tell, merging one company with itself is not really a merger. So you can't actually merger yet. When you get to 2, you're gonna be able to propose a merger between 2 pieces of cardboard. Doesn't matter who owns them. They could be your own companies, they could be other people's companies. And if you're at 5, you could propose a merger of 5 different pieces. And guess what? If you merged this before, you had these 2 together, and you want to merge that, this counts as 2. So if you want to combine it with 3 more rice, you can do it. Let's check out expansion next. If you're at a 1, that means when you trigger expansion, which we'll talk about specifically how that happens later, you're going to be able to expand 1 more. So if this company triggers expansion and you're at 1 expansion, you're going to be able to place 1 more out. If expansion was 5 and you sold both of these goods, that's a way to trigger expansion. You're going to be able to place 5 more out, all adjacent, meeting the rules for expansion. Next we got whole player. This tells you how many goods could be shipped per turn per ship. So if we're trying to ship out this stuff by this boat to this city, and this guy's whole player is only 1, that means only 1 good could be shipped here per turn. So we're going to ship one of these to there, And we have 3 more to ship, but this boat is maxed out because it's got a hull of 1 only. So it can only take 1. That means only 1 good is going to be shipped here to that city. Now if we did upgrade it to 3, for example, that means we could ship 3. So 3 can go on this one ship. 1, 2, 3. So we could sell 3 of them, but we still can't sell the 4th one because the hull is 3. Last, let's talk about turn order bid. So when you invest that money earlier, this is going to multiply how much you invest. So if you have it at 1, you want to bid 10 bucks, it's going to count as 10 bucks. If you have it up to 5, you want to bid 10 bucks, it's going to count 10 times 5, 50 bucks. Now keep in mind, this only counts for winning the bid. As far as the money that you have at the end of the game, it's still only going to be 10 bucks in this example. But this multiplies it for the immediate gain of having a higher value to win turn order. Operations. This is where you're going to use your companies. You're going to flip them over one at a time. If you want to work with your boats, you're going to flip it over and you're going to expand that boat. So this boat, let's say the boat was already out there. These are 3, 3, 4, meaning A, B, and C eras. So when you start the game, you start in A, also shown by the card here. That means right now you could have at most 3 boats on the board. You only have 1, so you can expand this guy and put another one out. Assuming your expansion is 1, that'll let you put 1 out. But if it was 2, in expansion, that means when you expand this guy, flip it over, you could put out 2 boats onto the board. They have to be adjacent to the original one. They could also chain. If we started here, you could put 1 there, and then you could put 1 there. Boom, boom, boom. Now let's talk about operating production companies. So how do we actually ship these? You're still gonna flip it over, and you're gonna look. You can sell goods up to how many production squares you have on the board. So as you can see here, there's only 1 there. So that means you could only ship 1 good because there's only 1 production plant. Then you look, is the production zone connected, chained by 1 ship company, owned by 1 individual? So you can see here, these are both blue and they're the same exact ship company. So that means they are chained. So see, boom, boom, it's connected to this city over here. So now at that point, you have to pay money. So one cool thing you could do is use like tokens that you buy. I'm using these here. These are from a game. We're valuing these at $5 a piece. So these count just as good as $5 in the paper money or the tokens or whatever you're using for your money. So the person that's shipping this good, they're gonna you gotta pay $5 for each boat. So the guy owned this, he's trying to ship it here. So you spent $5 for that boat, $5 for that boat. You gotta spend $5 for each boat that you use on the way to the destination. And you also have to keep in mind the whole value of these ships. So if the whole is only 1, that means you only could ship 1 good this whole turn to here. We only have 1 to ship. So it's gonna make it real nice. But if we were trying to sell another one, let's say we had 2 companies here, and we had this second piece of rice that looks like it has water damage on it, we actually could not ship it because the hull is only 1. These boats can only hold 1. But if it was 2, we could ship this. Boom, boom, boom. But how many boats do we use? We still gotta pay for each good 5. So we have to spend 5 on that one and 5 to that one. This money here is gonna go to the owner of the boats. So the boat people, they make money when people ship goods. The people that sell the goods, they're gonna make money based on the value on your cards. So they ship 2 rice, 2 times 20 is 40. So they're making 40 from the bank, but they also had to spend 5, 10, 15, 20 to the boat player. So how much did they actually make? They only made 20 bucks in this transaction, but that's mine. Let's say that you didn't want to ship these goods. Too bad. If you're able to ship them, like there is a legal place for them to be shipped to a city, you have to sell them. So shipping companies can't force you to sell goods. Well, just legally you have to by the rules. Now, if you sold every good that you could sell in a group, this is 2 here, you sold both of them, that's when you would trigger the expansion as we talked about. In this example, your expansion is 2. You sold 2 goods, that's all of them. You're gonna expand 2 spots. So let's say you didn't. Let's say the whole was only one. You only could ship the one good. So we got 5, 10, shipped one rice over here. There was another one you could have shipped, but you didn't. So you can't expand for free, but you can pay to expand. If you want to expand, you just pay the price of the goods. So rice, if you want to spend 20 bucks, you can put this guy out there. And if your expansion is 2, that 20 bucks will get you both expansions. It's technically one expansion. If it's at 5, the 20 bucks will expand it 5 more. 7th, we got city growth. So we talk about these cities here. We're starting out with yellow cities. Yellow cities can hold 1 of every type of good. Green can hold 2 of every type of good. Red can hold 3 of every type of good. This is for the whole round. So if you got one guy shipping rice here, you ship the rice there, that's to symbolize, okay, this guy has 1 rice, this city. Some other rice guy up here, they ain't gonna be able to ship to this guy anymore because he's at his rice max. He still needs some spice. Let's say some guy's got some spice. So now this guy's totally maxed out the city. It's got 1 of everything that is on the board. Keep in mind it's on the board as in people own them. If there was some tire or whatever, some oil out here that nobody took yet, this doesn't count. It's just what people actually own count toward this. So it got 1 of everything that could be shipped possibly at that point in time. And now it's gonna expand. During the city growth phase, it's gonna turn yellow, it's gonna go to green. So next time it could take 2 of everything. And for it to upgrade a 3rd time, it's gonna need to get 2 of everything to get to the next level, which is 3. And then when you're at 3, it doesn't expand anymore. It just can take 3 of every type. Now we're gonna go back to mergers. There's 2 ways that you can actually have the merger happen. So first of all, you can't be on the merger track because there's no way to merge one company with itself. You need to be at least 2. So at that point, you also need to be able to take the company that you're getting. So if you own this and your slots are at 1, you can only have 1 company. You can't propose a merger between, say, these companies over here. Because if you win that, you don't have room for it because your slot is only 1. So you actually have to have the room. The way to get around that is to merge your own company with somebody else's company. Because guess what? If you merge these 2, they become 1 company and you have slots for 1, this still counts as 1. So that's the way to merge and get it. So usually you're gonna merge the same company. So if you got these 2 rice guys here, you're gonna have 2 over there eventually and 2 over there. They're gonna become the 1. They become 1, it's 1 slot. You activate them all at once because it's only 1 slot, but you still have to ship these 2 separately from each other. So this one here, it's gonna be using these orange boats. It could possibly use the orange boats to chain all the way up to this yellow city. Keep in mind that you can't switch boats midway. So let's say this orange boat, for whatever reason, was filled out. This guy maxed it out, so you're trying to ship up here. You can't switch boats. So you got 1, 1, 1, you're trying to ship it here, but you can't just magically use this blue boat. When you ship from a place to a city, it has to be on the same exact boats the whole way. There is an exception where you can merge not the same thing. It's when you're trying to merge rice and spice together. Rice and spice together, they make microwavable meals. So the special thing you gotta do here is, here's your spice and here's the rice that you just merged together. They become the same company, but you gotta replace them with microwavable meals on the board. So you gotta divide them and round up to get rid of. So here we got 5. We're gonna divide that by 2, and that is 2.5, so that is gonna be 3 we have to get rid of. So you can decide how you get rid of it. They say try to do it as even as possible. So 1, 2, 3. Then this gets replaced with the microwave. And this guy over here gets replaced with the microwave. And there you go. Good stuff. So now you can see that they're worth 35 each. So they're worth a little bit more. So we talked about the mergers, we talked about proposing them, but we didn't talk about how to pay for them. So there's gonna be an auction, and it's gonna start at how much the stuff is worth. So if we're gonna merge this one and this one, you got 2 spice there. Spice is worth 25. So that means that's gonna be 50, 25 times 2. And this rice here is worth 20 times 2, so that's 40. See, we got 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So the starting bid for this auction is going to be 90 bucks. So it's going to be a 90 opening bid. Let's say the auction gets up to 200. So all you got to do is split it evenly. In a case like this, it's pretty easy to see. You got 2 and 2. That means each person is going to get half. It's going to split evenly perfectly. So the 200, this guy's going to get 100, this guy's going to get 100. The guy that owns this stuff, the guy that owns this stuff. Now if it's a little more complicated, you could go into the rule book and bid by exact numbers and all that. It's probably just easier just to do some simple math. Let's say here, don't worry about what you're bidding, just bid. Whoever wins, you win. So let's say we got, for whatever reason, we got 600 here. So 600 was the winning bid here. We got 4, 5, 6 pieces. It needs to be divided 6 ways because there's 6 of them. So what's 600 divided by 6? That's 100. 600 divided by 6 is 100. Total amount divided by how many pieces there are. So each piece is 100. So that means this guy has 4 pieces, so he gets 100 times 4. So Spice Guy is going to get 400. This guy has 2, so 100 times 2, that equals 200. So this you could obviously do in your head, but I'm just showing you on the paper how it splits. And you can see 400 plus 200, it does equal 600, what you started with. And that's a way to just evenly break it up. And yeah, if it's like some number that you need to round, just come to an agreement. If it's got to be 402 and 402.5, just come on and cut someone a break. Just someone give up 50 cents. Nobody's going to lose a game over 50 cents. You don't have to make the game more complicated than it already is. It's not even that complicated to begin with, but people seem to think it is. So don't give them any more reasons to make it more complicated by having technical rules for how to bid. Just bid, divide it, use a calculator if you need to, multiply it. And the next phase is the end of the game. But before the end of the game, a new error is going to happen. When there is none, or only one type of company available, that's when that error ends. So when we got all these guys out of here, right? There's a spice, there's a rice, and there's a boat left. So if this turn everybody took everything, the era ends. Then you're going to go back to new era and do the same thing you did for the first one, but using the B cards and then using the C cards. Another way to end the era and also end the game, at the end of the C, this is just going to end the game, is everything but one thing is left. So if there are, and by one thing I do mean one type of thing. So this does not end the game. If this is left, this ends the game because there are one type of thing left to take. And this is referring to acquisitions, when you're taking things during acquisitions. So if you come up to the end here, city growth, you see that, okay, there's only one type of thing here, or there's none things, new era, or if it's C, you're going to be at the end of the game. And yeah, that didn't actually take that long, and it's not honestly that complicated. So at the end of the game, and actually during the last phase, the whole last C, the whole last operations phase, all your money is doubled. So this essentially simulates a 4th shipping phase with similar production to the 3rd phase. So when you're on your 3rd round in the C and you're doing your operations, keep track of all your money that you got from selling things and from getting money from shipping things. Keep that separate. And then at the end of the actual game, you're going to double that money. So if you made $500 shipping stuff in the last round, keep it separate. At the end of the game, that 500 turns into 1,000. At the end of the game, if you had the most money, you win. That includes all the money that you invested for turn order. Count up your money and you won. And that's Indonesia. Thanks for watching.